Hello and welcome to another Desktop Dungeons Rewind run. With the beautiful assistance of my computer's mad fan. We're going to do Demonic Library. I did a run with Sorceror already, but it was A, it was atrocious, B, it still won, and C, it was like 50 minutes long. So I think we're going to start this again. Okay, I'm going to go Dwarf. I think that should be fine. Take anything really. I quite like Flame Magnet on Sorcerer, but extra attack boosters is obviously the one you go for. I think in terms of items, there's a whole range of possibilities here really, but Dwarven Gauntlets are the kind of standard. Okay, let's take Jehora, I think is the best pick on this dungeon. I'm going to take Patches, the Wonderful Bear, because being guaranteed to be mana burned a lot is exactly what we want. Could take Bear Mace just to guarantee some wall breakage. To go with the standard potion loadout. And then I'm going to throw in Shop Scroll as a stopgap measure. Okay, and this should set us up to have quite a nice little run. Now we've got Jehora early, it's always nice. Okay, so as we should know with Jehora, one of the key piety triggers is that when you discover a monster, that gives you potentially piety, or a punishment, as we'll see. So one of the optimizations you've got with Bear Mace is that you can repeatedly knock back enemies into the Great Unknown. This lets you increase the amount of piety you get throughout your run. Now we're going to just make sure to be using this. It's always one of the great things about Sorcerer, is because you've got this secondary source of regen. Even if you get poisoned, you can potentially continue to try and maximise your party game. Oh, we're the first of our demons. And yeah, you'll see we've just farmed up a little extra piety doing this consistently. Now, this dungeon, it feels like it's hardly the worst glyph in the world, but I don't feel like we desperately need it. Okay, again, Sorcerer, very, very strong class, and a lot of the reason is that you just have this ability to have a good early game almost no matter what happens. Oof, slightly tricky setup. Let me just think. Here's the Avatar sub-dungeon. I found out pretty recently that apparently you can do some shenanigans to get over to there early. but this doesn't let you effectively skip the top side, because you still need to kill the bosses up here to win the level. Okay, we've got one to fight here, which is potentially a slightly more efficient way of getting to pull our popcorn. But I think with the particular setup we've got now, not really got a load of call to be using this. Again, just making sure we're consistently using our health here in whatever way we can to maximise our gains. Okay, take one hit of each of the boons just to start with. And yeah, with a very strong class like Sorcerer or something like that, usually with Jehora especially, you're not so worried about maximising your tiles, but rather you want to set up well for the early game, develop a strong character at the start. Alright, I have a feeling, and I'm struggling a little bit with rewind with this. I think we're getting there. Okay, secrets of dungeon found. Oh, and this is just the icing on the cake, right? This is our dear friend, good Glamric, the Warlord. And he's worth a lot of experience. So I understand from the big experience optimizers that with Glamric you generally want to hit him not at level 1. Now I'm taking a look here to see if... So one of the problems with this kind of Jehora build with Bear Mace as well is that you end up very tight on inventory space. Especially with patches. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert. I should probably just be smart and convert patches, but you know, this bear is such a joy to have around. Okay, and as you'll see, Sorcerer breaks death protections with the mana shield. So does very well with these guys, the Doom armors, which are often somewhere between they're often sort of in between that thing where they're either a either kind of untouchable or the easiest enemy in the run, depending on your build. And Dwarf as well does very well with this. Okay, so we've taken our mana burn from patches, and normally I think it's a good sign to get out. You don't want to do too many levels mana burned. Still, we've got an absolutely huge health pool, so there is potential here to be doing yeah, let me think. We can take this Jinn. Okay, and we can deal with good Glamric as well. Sorry, old buddy, but it's not personal. Okay, Patch has given us even more max health, which is normally not what you want from patches, but you know, the rough with the smooth. Okay, there's level 6 armor is probably doable. Generally, I think you want to start taking on some of these bosses around level 4 to 5. Probably level 5 is very safe. Level 4, you know, is also fine most of the time, but a little more resource intensive. Just gonna burst a popcorn for this. It's probably not worth it, but still. Okay. Now I've got a little bit of a choice with Jehora. We can either try and boost our stats even further, or we can kind of live where it is. Given I want to start fighting the Demon Lords, I should probably convert Patches out now. I believe Blood Power is worse for Sorcerer than for other classes, I could be wrong. But anyway, we're going to pick something to start with. So we can either go for Demon Lord starting now, or we can try and wait for that 5-6 threshold. Either approach, to be honest, should be perfectly fine. One of the most important things about this library, the demonic library as a whole, is to realise these are soft floating bags of experience. They're not really, you know, I know they say they're bosses, but you know, there's bosses and there's bosses, right? And these are not the scarier of the two. Okay, I'm probably going to yeah, I could start now, or I could not. But yeah, this is the kind of decision making you often find yourself in desktop dungeons. Just you know, there's a lot of potentially correct plays. In general, with these, you do want to start targeting some of the annoying ones sooner rather than later. Sooner rather than later. Okay, I'm thinking, do I have 20 experience lined up? The answer is yes, but not very neatly. So I think I'm going to use some more black space. Just put this Doom armor down to an appropriate range. Yeah, just using that to Okay, so we just want to get to a nice point here where we can say, okay, we've got a couple of easy level ups, and then we're going to start multitasking. So one of the great things about Sorcerer is that it's a very strong multitasking class. It can do very well both using physical and magical damage. But it does best doing both at the same time. Okay, I've not really got anything to use this extra health on. I could go for the steel golem, but I think we'll be within killing range of it later. One particular note, of course, is that we are under Jehora, and in a moment we'll see, one of the big reasons for that. Oh, XP prediction was wrong. That's not how slowed works. Interesting. So, to hit this guy again, right, and again, I don't really want to use my health on anything right now. So we're going to use... Oh, I could use it for this. That was that was a silly oversight. Okay, so we're going to use Chaos Avatar. Now, Chaos Avatar obviously gives you a full restore, which is extremely nice if you're fighting multiple bosses like this. But it also reduces their resistances by 20%, which affects steel golems as well as two of these guys. It removes corrosion, it removes weakening. So, all in all, just an extremely nice boon to have on this map. Okay, now this is a sort of decision point where we can be greedy or we can be more reserved. Taking out per Vulcan Zay would be quite nice. And I think I'm going to start using up some of the popcorn to do it. Do I want to take corrosion? I don't really mind if I do. Okay, now as you'll see, these bosses leave behind a ton of gold, which means you can often buy out the entire dungeon, or get extremely high value out of Tiki Tuki, or even Glowing Guardian and Jehora, both of whom reward item conversions with piety. So we still need to be playing reasonably okay at this point. This is often a very good item in this dungeon. Again, it just lets you really do both things at once. So you're using your full fireballs. I'll buy X, no point going for Miser yet. But it lets you use fireballs and also your physical attacks at the same time. One thing worth noting, as you kill demon lords, they'll give death protections randomly to other demon lords. It's not really a huge deal because their health is pretty low, and it's really only an issue for sort of physical classes. Okay, I think we're going to consider starting some more of these. Now, I've not checked that I have enough experience on the board to level up. But if not, we can always use some potions. And get there. Again, I should really have set that up so I've got a level up in hand. But this dungeon usually isn't that punitive. Okay, I'm not super fussed about keeping blood to power. That was an extremely slapdash moment. Right, so our big aims here are either we can get to 100 piety and use last chance for another full restore from Jehora, or we can switch into Tiki and start really trying to benefit off the popcorn. Use our edge. As noted, there's a load of gold on the map, so it's pretty beneficial with Tiki's ability to get piety from gold. Okay, and we can look to level up again. And I'm going to very specifically take out this one first, because I would rather the death protection popped on Paravolcan. It's going to pop on anyone. Okay, this guy's got 4 death protections, which is a lot, but it's really not a huge concern for Sorcerer. Again, I think Sorcerer, while the maximum power level, say, doesn't necessarily correspond with that of a rogue or something like that. Just the consistency, even in these vicious dungeons, is so high. Right, so we're going to be smart this time and at least get within range of a level up. What we'd also ideally do is look to, yeah, we're going to take out that imp, clear off our curse so that we can use our tempering pendant. It's not actually relevant for this boss, which I had forgotten in a moment of folly. Again, crystal ball, great item in general, but in this map especially, all the extra gold makes it so useful. And again, with these you can do sort of small small explorations to regen fight while you're dealing with the demon lords. Okay, so we're going downstairs. We're going to bring up the Avatar, legendary mob maker, and the boss of this dungeon. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to put him right next to the entrance. And by first thing, I mean he's got magic resistance, so sooner or later we're going to put him by the entrance. These don't have first strike, so go. And I'm going to be exploring from back here first and trying to keep any black space I have up top that's remaining. We're going to really set ourselves up directly for the fight. Be on the cusp of going up another level. Okay, fantastic, and we can finish that off with that succubus if we need to. Okay, so one of Avatar's gimmicks is that he spawns lots of little baby avatars when you do this. For a lot of classes you can actually just kill these straight up, which allows you to get further level ups, which is obviously very good. These do give experience. So they're not always a downside to have in the map. Now we're going to keep working them over. And if it looks like I'm going to get punished by Tiki-Tuki, do please shout through the void and remind me, because that is exactly the kind of thing I would forget. Okay, I don't think I need weight what anymore. Right, I'm going to pick this up. And just a note, he berserks at 25%. Oh, nice little dodge there. Which means you have to be a little bit careful. Okay, so our other sub, which is the Jinn. Okay, extra mana potion is always nice security on this. Now we're kind of in this position. We'd like to be able to get above 50% health, so this is time to start using our health potions. And again, we've just got this absolutely astonishing health pool here, really. Okay, we're guaranteed to dodge now. And yeah, we're just in a sort of fairly standard position for this dungeon. Again, it's that last little bit of Avatar's health that's the problem, because he's got the Berserk. But there are lots of ways to get around that, such as having a huge health pool, having resists, having death protection. Okay, now I'm going to take a quick look at the top side. We did deal with... Oh, we missed some of the level 9s. I'm just going to take those out and get an unstoppable. Nice, which should be... Got it? Okay. So again, you can see Jehora Sorcerer is... an extremely comfy class to run this dungeon with. The main things to remember are, with a strong class, you should be looking at starting to really take out these demon lords around level 4, 5, 6, something like that. And then you can kind of just use your refills and run through it. Again, I went for Dwarf today, but really sorcerers of any kind. Just very strong at this dungeon. They deal with a lot of problems. Jehora deals with a lot of problems, and together it kind of just solves it. I'm going to keep Avatar's Codex, which is a solidly decent item. I've got one from earlier in there. And that will... That's probably not as essential as Dragon Shield, but it's still a very decent reward item and worth having in the lockers. Anyway, next time we'll do another Demonic Library run. Thank you for watching.